Have you heard of the Manga Taisho Awards? It's awarded annually and it's bestowed upon a manga that was published in the previous year. It's awarded to a new manga series that has 8 or fewer published volumes. It's meant to help promote the nominees to new readers and of course increase the popularity of the winner. You probably recognize some of the manga on this year's list of nominees. There's Akane Banashi, Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You, The Summer Hikaru Died, and Tatsu Fujimoto's incredible one-shot Goodbye Eri. However, this year's winner wasn't any of these manga titles that I just mentioned. When I read the first volume of this manga earlier this year, I had no idea it was award-winning. And now that I know it won first place, even against such amazing talent, honestly, I'm not even surprised. Allow me to introduce you to the wholesome and charming story of this year's winner of the Taisho Manga Awards, Draw This, Then Die. It's another beautiful day in Izu Oshima, an island of Japan located 120 kilometers from Tokyo. Would you look at those clouds and that sparkling sea? Oh, would you look who it is? It's Yasumi Ai and her little friend Pokita. Ah, look at these nerds, reading some manga. They really seem to be into it. What a roller coaster of emotions. They must be reading Rent a Girlfriend. Yasumi-san. Huh? Yasumi Ai-san, what are you doing here during school hours? I will discipline you later. It has been a month since your enrollment. Please remember that you are no longer in middle school, but that you are a high school student now. Teshima-sensei, can I go through the shopping district first? It's a return list. The shopping district? All there is ahead of us is the side dishes shop, the general goods store, the sushi restaurant, and the suspicious bookstore. I tries to invite her strict teacher inside, but she seems to be very reluctant about it and heads to school, leaving I to return the book on her own. She finds herself having a hard time returning the book because she's obsessed with it. We learn that she actually keeps borrowing the book over and over. It's actually not Rent a Girlfriend, but a cult classic manga by the name of Robata and Pokita. Nana, the owner of this cute little bookstore, explains that she's willing to sell it to Ai for 10,000 yen, which is the typical asking price for this rare manga. Robata and Pokita must be this world's equivalent to Zatchbell. Ai doesn't have that kind of cash to spend being a freshman with no job, so she settles to borrow it for the 10,000th time instead of spending 10,000 yen. To get to school, Ai prefers the scenic route. She chooses to climb the mountain rather than taking the bus each day. And here you might start to begin to look at the art and maybe compare it to the details seen in a lot of different manga these days. Heck, even if we were only just to compare Draw This Then Die to the other list of nominees of the Taisho Awards, this manga certainly has a very simple art style. Regardless, I still find it very beautiful. Also, the mangaka Toyota Minoru uses of vibrant colors are so amazing. The simple style doesn't hold it back from having beautiful scenes, as you'll be able to see later. Ai eventually arrives at school, and as her sensei promised, she's going to be disciplined. Sensei is very worried that Ai is getting too distracted by manga, and honestly she's right to think so. During class time, instead of textbooks, Ai can be seen reading manga instead. But man, Sensei really did not hold anything back during this lecture. Listen Ai, manga will never become anything. It's a flood of crassness, meaninglessness, and nonsense. It's a stopgap for temporary simulation, and it will not take you anywhere. It's a useless waste of time. For the sake of catching your interest, these irresponsible people draw all kinds of things that don't exist and put "this is a work of fiction" at the end. To be blunt, all of this is a lie. There are web videos, apps, and social media for entertainment now. So many new ways to have fun. The scale of the publishing industry is shrinking, bookstores are closing one by one, and paper books are going out of style. The latest business craze, electronic publishing, is succeeding, and those sales on their own have already surpassed the golden age. Seems I got off topic, but in any case, I'll be confiscating this manga, then I will return it myself to the bookstore. I will tell the people at the store not to lend it out anymore either. That is all Ai. Teshima-sensei. In that manga, Robata and Pokita are robots, but they want to become humans. Robata, who only knows logic, is taught the importance of emotion by Pokita. When I was a kid, I wasn't able to make friends, and I only read manga. Once I read this manga, I could start to feel Pokita encouraging me too. When I did as Pokita said, I was able to make friends. Sensei, manga isn't a lie. Nope, it's all a lie. Before we talk about how Sensei absolutely destroyed Ai's dreams, can we first talk about how sweet this idea is? The idea of Pokita manifesting into this weird comfort character for Ai for her to become more confident. I remember being in elementary school and trying to be more confident like my favorite characters such as Naruto and Sonic because I love them so much. And I ended up not working in my favor because I love Naruto so much. I also ended up running around the playground exactly like him, looking like a damn fool. But I'm sure us manga and anime fans who have been with the genre since we were young can relate to learning a few lessons from our favorite characters. Pokita being a character that influenced Ai to make friends and perhaps being her first friend who still to this day keeps her company when she's alone, is proof that Ai is right and then Sensei is wrong. Manga isn't a lie. Ai absolutely should be focused on her work, and Sensei was right to discipline her, but Sensei really seems to have it against manga in particular. And I gotta wonder why. After Ai gets her manga dreams absolutely ruined by Teshima Sensei, she goes home to try and cheer herself up with some manga dreams. Ai begins a search online for her favorite mangaka, Hoshino Rei. She's the author behind Poketa and Robota. While doing this research, Ai learns that after years of not updating her social media, Hoshino is back, and she's going to be at Komita. Ai also learns that Hoshino Sensei is going to be distributing a new work in the Robota and Poketa series at Komita. Ai, being the superfan she is and how expensive old copies of the manga have become, she makes her way to Tokyo for this opportunity she can't pass up. When Ai arrives inside of Komita in search of Hoshino, she finds many other artists doing their thing. She's absolutely blown away that regular people, even people her own age, are creating such beautiful art. And we get this really cute double-page spread of Ai's reaction. I too levitate off the ground when I visit Artist Alley at Fan Expo. Ai eventually finds Hoshino's table and gets in line. Next person. Yes, Hoshino Sensei, I'm a big fan? Wait, Teshima Sensei? Can you give me a moment? Sure. You have the wrong person. Chie Sensei slowly putting on her disguise over the course of 4 panels in front of Ai and saying with full confidence, "No, you're not the wrong girl," is absolutely hilarious to me. Ai might be silly, but she's not dumb, and she recognizes her sensei, of course. She's overjoyed that after years her favorite mangaka is back. And doubly so, it's her own sensei. The way Ai is going on about it and how overjoyed she is exactly how Ai reacts when Togashi Sensei posts a line on Twitter. It's a really nice line, okay? Seriously, no matter how minor the update, anytime Togashi Sensei posts something, my heart skips a beat. And I'm sure Ai's heart is also beating out of her chest because she sees another opportunity that she can't pass up and asks her teacher to teach her about manga. That is not happening. That is not happening. Yasumi-san, please calm down and listen to me. That is not happening. How many times are you gonna say that? After Teshima Sensei's cover has been blown, she takes Ai home so she wouldn't have to take the night ferry all alone. Sensei moves so fast that they end up getting the ferry that Ai arrived on. Ai wasn't even in Tokyo for more than an hour. On the ferry home, she receives a lecture from Sensei. But she's so starstruck now. Imagine being an 11-year-old Naruto fan and Masashi Kishimoto as your math teacher. You'd probably just be looking at them like this. The next day, Ai tells her friend Akafuku everything that happened the day before, telling her that their Teshima Sensei is also Hoshino Sensei, which gives Akafuku an idea. Let me get this straight. You want to form a manga club? I want to ask you to be our advisor, Teshima Sensei. Why me? The club room absolutely has to be fully equipped with an AC. Akafuku-san. I also wanted to have a drink bar, and cushions, and tons of manga. Hey, is it alright for local public servants like you, Teshima Sensei, to have side jobs, I wonder? Is this girl blackmailing me? What are you saying, Akafuku? What the heck? Sorry, Sensei, I shall not give up my dream no matter what it takes, even if it means blackmailing you. I have a condition. My condition is, until next week, please draw 1 manga. While Ai tries to make the next Kagurabachi, Sensei goes to the bookstore she was reluctant to go into. Of course, we now know why, being the mangaka of this cult classic manga. But she's also friends with the owner, Nana. Remember when I said the simple art style doesn't stop this manga from having beautiful scenes? I think this is one of them. It's a simple conversation between old friends. Teshima Sensei venting her problems and Nana not being able to hold back her laughter, all set to this moonlit fairy port. Sensei explains that she plans to run off to Tokyo, explaining to Nana that she has fallen out of love with creating manga. I'm a bad role model, Nana. I already wrote my resignation letter. Just as stuffy as ever, aren't you? Oh, thank you. So, you plan on drawing manga when you go back to Tokyo? I'm not gonna draw. I already can't anymore. It's not fun to draw manga. Even less so if you like manga. The more you know about the manga created by the greats before you, the more you come to realize your own inadequacy. But, once again, it's manga that helps you with those feelings. Just like chasing after a carrot on a stick, you're chasing after the manga you love. I unfortunately no longer have the guts for that, Nana. Surely that must mean I've come to like manga no more. I wonder, will those kids draw that manga? No way, right? I only said that to make them give up. You're hoping that they'll draw the manga, aren't you? I'm not. You totes are. She totes is, and a week later, we get to see the fruit of Ai's labor. In the staff room, Ai hands Sensei a campus-lined paper notebook where she drew the manga. Sensei opens it up to find Ai's week's worth of manga making, and tears in the pages are stuck together by tape. Ai plagiarized the title from Hoshino. Drawings are done in pen without any rough drafts. New characters are introduced with just 3 pages left in the story, and the anatomy is more like body horror. Despite all the issues that Sensei finds in every page of Ai's art, she is smiling. By the time Sensei finishes the manga, she begins to look at Ai the same way Ai looks at her. And though it's brief, through Ai's manga, it helps Sensei to remember the joys of creating, feelings that dissipated after becoming a jaded veteran of the manga industry. Ai, as well, also gets a bit of a taste of how difficult the process of making a manga truly is. Teacher, drawing manga is super difficult. You can't see him, but because of Pokita's encouragement, I was able to draw it. I mean, if it wasn't for your creation, I wouldn't have been able to make this. It's all thanks to you, teacher. Here's a club establishment form. I will be your advisor. Please fill out the necessary sections and hand it in. Sensei decides to scrap her resignation letter and become their club advisor. Even though this is a huge win for them, they have a slight problem that needs solving. You see, they actually need one more member to form this club. Thankfully, it doesn't take long for Ai to make acquaintance with a shy student named Fujimori. While Ai is trying to recruit members for her manga club, she finds Fujimori painting alone in an empty classroom. It's an awkward meeting, but Ai gives Fujimori a copy of the manga that she created, and she's using it as a recruitment tool. Fujimori doesn't say much to Ai because of her timidness, but you can tell by her reactions that she's really enjoying this manga, in a way that seems very similar to how Ai was reading Robota and Pokita. There's also this incredibly creative page layout that presents what Fujimori wants to say, even though all she can utter is one-word responses. Ai says that she's used to people laughing at her manga, and all that Fujimori can say is, "That's..." But what she really wants to say is, "That's not it! Yashima-san's manga is super lovely, not just super cute. I love this manga." Ai eventually leaves without Fujimori saying a word or even being able to introduce herself. Fujimori takes Ai's manga home, and being the artist that she is, redraws Ai's story with her own spin on the designs. The next day, she finds the courage to introduce herself, but only thanks to the encouragement of one of the crudely drawn characters in Ai's manga. The same way Pokita encouraged Ai to come out of her shell when she was younger. This art train is inspiring people to connect and share, from Sensei's original work inspiring Ai, to Ai being able to reignite Sensei's spark because of her pure art, to Fujimori being encouraged to make her first friend because of Ai's manga. I think Teshima Sensei describes why I love this manga, and manga in general, better than I even could. Manga is an expression. Expressions laden with sincere feelings are human themselves. There is no objectivity. Those feelings will shake the hearts of those who harbor the same feelings. Even if your painting or composition is childish, if the feelings inside the manga are correct, it will transcend skill and technique to shake people's minds. As time goes on, the club slowly learns about the ups and downs of creating manga, and I just want more of it, man. The characters and their wholesome interactions and the mangaka's clear love for the art form is what makes Draw This Then Die so awesome. Naruto was my Pokita growing up, and I'm sure you've got your own character that meant the world to you. And maybe you didn't go out and make a manga because of it, but I'm willing to bet, maybe, in some small way, that character inspired you to do something. Something good.